Okay, my group has CAUTI. CAUTI stands for catheter acquired or associated UTI. A little refresher on UTI. UTI is the urinary tract infection of any part of the urinary system. On to a couple facts about CAUTI. CAUTI is a cure during hospitalization. Now, with that, of all UTIs acquired in the hospital, about 75 of those come from a patient, whatever, having a urinary catheter. CAUTIs, they affect the hospital payouts and Medicare reimbursements. Because let's say a patient comes in for one disease or disorder or something of that nature, and they leave and they come back with the UTI and they know that it happened from them being in the hospital will not get paid for that patient being in the hospital. That's kind of what that means. It is the second most common cause of bloodstream infections. It costs around $4,000 for the hospitals to treat, going back to the hospital payout and Medicare reimbursements. But the thing is that all CAUTIs are preventable, every one of them. Hospitals, they always want to aim to have 0 CAUTIs because they greatly affect the hospital, once again, payouts and Medicare reimbursement.
All right, so inserting the catheter, we want to make sure that we insert it using a sterile technique. If we break any sterile field, or even if you think that you have broken sterile field, make sure you go and get a new kit. A new kit is going to be a whole lot cheaper than the $4,000 to treat it. So we want to chart the insertion with the description of how the urine looks. So we want to have a reason why we're inserting the catheter. We don't want to insert it just because it's convenient to us. We want to make sure we follow the CDC guidelines on how to insert it, and we have to make sure that we have a doctor's order to insert it. So daily care for our catheter, we want to make sure that we clean it at least 3 times a day, usually every 8 hours or as needed. And we want to make sure that we keep the area clean and dry, monitor for any signs of infections at all, and then we want to make sure we chart any peri-care that we do, what it looks like if there's any infections.
Alright, so to insert the catheter, you need to first prep it. You'll prep the area by using the iodine swabs in the kit. Swab correctly according to the gender that you're putting the Foley in, different for males and females. And once you use your hand to prep, that hand's no longer sterile, so don't move it from there. After you've done prepping and you get the catheter inserted, you'll always want to get a urine sample. This will determine if there's a UTI before the catheter was inserted, so it can't be classified as a CAUTI and be sent about the hospital. And then you'll secure the bag using the stat lock that's provided in the kit. If there's not one provided, then you'll need to get one. And then to hang the bag, you'll hang it on a non-moving portion of the bed, and you'll always keep it below the bladder and never let the bag sit on the floor or in the bed. It won't drain correctly. And then you'll empty the bag before transporting, empty it before it gets completely full so it can backflow into the bladder. And then don't let the spout touch the ground when emptying because it can cause the bacteria to get in. Okay, and then you'll only break the seal if it needs to be broken. This opens a gateway for the bacteria to get into the bladder, so only open if you need to irrigate it.
Okay, so in conclusion, this is how we prevent CAUTIs. To start, we want to make sure that we are only inserting a catheter if absolutely necessary. We do not want to do it just for convenience. That's not right. We want to make sure that the catheter is only in as long as it is needed, not a day later than it is supposed to be. We want to always insert a catheter using sterile technique. That is one of the main reasons how this happens, is because some nurses or whoever puts it in, they're lazy, or they say, oh, that little touch doesn't really hurt it, I'm going to insert it anyways. As Destiny said earlier, it is so much easier to just go and get a new kit than have the hospital pay $4,000 to treat a CAUTI. We always want to obtain a urine specimen upon insertion so that if something does happen, we always have our parts covered. We want to make sure that we're always checking for any kinks or leaks in the tubing or any of the ports of any kind to make sure that nothing is getting in or coming out that doesn't need to be going in or out. And we want to make sure that if these people are going to have the catheter in for a very long time, that it is changed at least once a month. These are the CDC and Mayo Clinic, and this is CAUTI.